Please remember that when you are reading a particular writer, don't jump toward their work. Always have background study or historical study of a writer. So we will study the main important thing about William Cowper, his historical life. So you can see from here, because my pen will not run toward the text area of this part. So he was born around 26 November, Buckinghamshire, Hertfordshire, England, and died around 1800. Don't need to remember everything, but important data that is needed for your exam. Norfolk, England. So the writer like S.T. Coleridge, who gave him name, like he was known as the best modern writer, who given him the tag of this, the best modern poet, who is the William Cowper. And also William Wordsworth admire his Yardley yoke. So these are popular poet of this time around the 18th century. So don't ignore him. Anyhow, you don't know whenever the question may arrive. So he was the forerunner of the romantic poet. If questions arrive like who is the forerunner poet, because UGC NET tried to trap the student to get confused. So he was one of the leading pre-romantic poet of the 18th century. Also, he get studied at Westminster School. You will get notes of these all things inside my description box. So, or after 2-3 days after, I will be adding these notes in my description box. Have a see, download it and read that. He also developed his close relationship with his friendship with the Mary Ulvin, who carried him during his difficult period. Cowper was already deeply religious, and he reflect Christian faith, morality, spiritual direction. Also, his poetry celebrate natural life, simplicity, humanity. All these are important part. So, what are the main writing written by him? That is the task. The poem published around 1782, but it have different poem like task. So remember this date also for the task. That one is 1785. Then Joel Gilpin, only Yems, and also he written the translation of Iliad and Odyssey. So he is known as the one of the pioneer of romantic. I have told you, and he was popularized blank verse. When you are making notes also, just make notes on blank verse. Read about blank verse, everything. Then next day I will put one video on blank verse and see where your notes are lacking and which fact you doesn't write and what I am telling to you. In this way you will connect more and you will reach toward your goal. Afterward, he is also writing about ordinary people like Wordsworth, because Wordsworth Triton Abbey poem is admired on this. His famous quotations are like, the God made country, man made the town. This is the contrary about the nature and the artificiality of man. The variety of the very species of life, from the task. So important description given in this book I have already mentioned, but the writer who said about him, like William Wordsworth have said about him, he was not a writer formal critical essay, but he loved the nature. His poetic style is very significant. S.T. Coleridge called him as the nature language, sincerity and the moral depth found in his work. Matthew Arnold value co-power as the moral seriousness and showing the simplicity, truthness toward, and that's why he considered as the less imaginative than the major romantic poets, because he showed truthness. William Hazlitt also admired co-power as a natural expression. Remember these words so that it will be very helpful. Ability to portray domestic and rural life with authenticity. Okay, this one is done. I have already told you these things. Now we will read the text of this. William Cowper, The Task, is written in blank verse poem. It consists of 6 books, was with Thomson's The Season. One of the most long-lasting popular poem on the theme of nature and simple life. So what the writer is saying, it is compared with the writing of season, like James Thompson have written, and theme is nature and simplicity of life. One of the famous distinction word found in this writing in his poetry is the he given this quote that become very famous: God made the country and man made the town. This underline the search for tranquility. Remember this word in the hectic word. Also remember this word. So this both thing create important and also offer the celebrates and describe a closer relationship between man and nature. So this one is very important theme, relationship between man and nature. These underline lines from the task from the section subtitle. Okay, this poem is also subtitled as Ruler Sight and Sound. One of the important fact, it anticipates the Wordsworth in their affirmation of the countryside. Because in the Wordsworth poetry, we have seen about the countryside. So like that only, because Wordsworth is upcoming writer of romantic age, but he is writing before Wordsworth. So he was giving the views of countryside, what it look like, how they feel, how common people are doing. These all things anticipated. It is important to note the sense of appreciation. Remember this word, the sense of appreciation. Only a touch of reflection and reflect the major views. We will read the text of this line. The ruler's sight alone, but the ruler's sound. Exhilarate the spirit, restore the tone of liquid nature, might winds that sweep the skirt of some far spreading wood of the ancient growth make the music not unlike the dash of ocean on the winding shore and the lull of his spirit while they fill the mind. So it's very easy, you can see from the line also what the poet it's saying about the nature and the sight of the ruler, how it is go. He's saying not the ruler's sight, but also the sound is important. Yeah? You can read this literary device on the spirit. So he's talking about human spirit and the spirit of the nature. There is the divine power he's saying about. And restore. What is restoring? The energy, the spirit energy. The tone of the liquid. What is this? It is the metaphor, tone of a liquid. So liquid saying the two things here, not only about the water, not about the fluid, but also the tone means the language of fluid, river. Mighty wind. So he's giving wind as the power. So mighty winds that sweep the skirt. What is meaning the skirt is means whole range of a forest. The whole forest he's about of the ancient growth make the music not unlike. Dash of ocean, another metaphor. Try to read each and every line because you don't know many time they give an exam. This line might come or like its matching line can become so that you can see that who have written and the lull the spirit while they fill the mind. So it help to calm the mind of human. So it's very important to read each and every stanza of book if you are sitting for the important exams. So here I have written notes of this section and published by, because many times they ask about publisher, Joseph Johnson. It's written in blank verse. Also the important, his first book Sofa is in mock Miltonic style. So remember the name of 6 book. You have to remember like the sofa, timepiece, the garden, winter evening, winter morning walk, and winter walk at noon. Afterward, you have to remember also date. He coined the phrase I have told you, and what that meaning you have to read about this one also. Remember its subtitle. And when William Wordsworth, I have mentioned the important incident from William Wordsworth, that when William Wordsworth was a schoolboy, he borrowed his copy of the task and he got inspired, influence for his own poem, that is Triton Abbey. Coleridge also given him two titles. One is the best modern poet and another title is the divine chit chat. The genre of poem is moral and descriptive. So why this poem is known as the task, you have to find it out. Major themes are very important, significance is very important, and style of writing is very important. I have to ask in exam again and again. So you have to write these things in your note. So William Cowper was born around 1731 and Oliver was born around 1728. So the book have to give Oliver Goldsmith before according to his date, but they have mentioned the William Cowper as above, but you have to write in your notes in a sequence so that you will remember the Oliver Goldsmith will come before 1728, then William Cowper will come. So he has strongest note in the deserted. We will read this section later. Smith, he was Anglo-Irish poet and also playwright, also known for his hack writing. He was considered as the most renowned and versatile writer of the Georgian era. So when the Georgian era started, if I tell you the timeline of Georgian era, so it started around 1714 to 1830. This era is considered after the Augustan period. Like Augustan period is started in 1700, so this started after it. So known for crediting and also introducing sentimentalism in English literature in 18th century. Because of the Goldsmith popular work, novel like The Vicar of Wakefield and his most famous comedy, She Stoops to Conquer, make the most influential impact on the history of English literature. I am telling you the fact and important things which are coming forward. I am not making the whole video dedicated towards the writer. I will just verbally declare anything. You have to make it jotted down for making yourself easily. Don't get confused, just write, and if you have any problem just comment down. Don't hesitate. अगर आप कुछ हिचक रखोगे, कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा, तो it will create confusion in your mind. So Oliver Goldsmith is have 2-3 things very different because he considered as the versatile writer of Georgian era also he is considered as a realistic writer. So because he was depicting the normal life in the British society. Smith, he is known as the Georgian era writer. Another thing, he is known as the realistic writer. Another thing, he is also known for sentimentalism writing. Because of these two writings, his comedical plays are important part compared with the writer like William Shakespeare. So he was great classic writer during that time. About the deserted village, because in Routledge history they have started like Goldsmith has a strongest note in the deserted village of the regret. So why the regret writer is saying, why we found the regret and anything? Because this regret is about something loss from the past connected to future. That's why this loss we are seeing in this regret. Go through the text, you have to pay attention. How often have I blessed coming day when the toil means something is getting damaged, toil remaining lent in turning to play, the all village. So all village means in the whole town, whole village, there is only one train. From labor free, let up their sports beneath the spreading tree, while many pastime circle in the shade. Pastime means there are people who are just passing their time. They don't have any work, so they are like roaming here there with their group of friends. The young commanding as the old surveyed. So both type of people they are talking, young and old. Grumble people, they are sitting and just playing. The sights of art and the fleets of the strength went round. So read this text it's very important. Overall, Goldsmith can be accused of idealizing the lost ideal of the country life. I have already told you, he was like having a regret of the lost village. And the village, the name of village itself is very important. It never asks in exam, but you have to remember for your long term, for your knowledge also. This village name is Alburn. So he was talking about this village. Certainly in the Crabbe work, Crabbe wrote the same work with the title The Village after the 13 years of Goldsmith. So reacted against any view. Why? So you can see after 13 years how many change could be. But he tried to write the poem about the village, that is stress on the real life. So what is the difference? You have to write that, you have to focus on that. What is the difference between Goldsmith and what is the difference between Crabbe village? So Crabbe village poem is a stress on the trial of a real life and reject the kind of Arcadian idol. Arcadian idol means old idols. They are rejecting, which had been found in the poetry from the since Philip Sidney century. So just go through this line, view chronological order in exam. I will highlight most important writing because you have to remember the first work always, what the writer have written. This one, The Citizen of World. It was written in a letter or collected form. Afterward, you have to remember this, Traveler, 1764. But when you are reading, no, see that you read everything. Because of reading, you can like imagine your new exam. Yes, I have read. You don't know about your subconscious mind. If you read, it will be reconnected in your mind. हमेशा आपके दिमाग में वो इम्प्रिंट रहता है. अगर आप उस चीज़ को पढ़ोगे ही नहीं तो आपके दिमाग में कैसे रहेगा? एटलीस्ट रीड एवरीथिंग so that you will recollect it afterward. 1764, The Traveler, or it is also known as A Prospect of the Society. 1765 में उन्होंने लिखा है हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंग्लैंड फ्रॉम द अर्लीस्ट टाइम टू द डेथ ऑफ जॉर्जियन सेकेंड. दिस वर्क इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. रिमेंबर दिस वन. रिमेंबर जस्ट टाइम लाइन. दिस इज़ रिटन बाय हिम बिकॉज ये सिर्फ टाइटल आपके एग्ज़ाम में आ सकता है, कभी भी पूछा जा सकता है. देन इनका अदर वर्क है एडविन. देन इनका अदर वर्क है विकार ऑफ वेक्सफील्ड. Then his another important work is The Good Nature Man, Deserted Village, The Hunch of Vention, The History of England, another 1772 History of Earth and Animated Nature, then she Stoops to Conquer, and his last work that is published posthumously, Retaliation. So this much we have completed Oliver Goldsmith. Now we will jump toward George Crabbe.